Hi, welcome to the Real Housecast of North Hollywood. I'm your host, Carson Frey. This is our producer, Ezra.
What up, folks?
Ezra, you got your own mic. How does it feel?
It feels cool. I feel important.
You feel part of the show, not as in the background?
I do. It's a nice change of pace.
Well, you are a Real Housecast.
I am a Real Housecast.
So, to be real with you guys, we were going to review Vanderpump Rules Part 3 Reunion, but COVID's, I guess, still a thing.
Yeah.
I guess.
As much as you think that it's not, it's always there.
And
like an ex you absolutely hate.
Like Tom Sandoval.
Like Tom Sandoval.
Do you think he would get mad if he heard this podcast of us, like, comparing him to COVID?
Probably, but then he would look in the mirror and hopefully just be like, I see it. I see it.
So, we're not going to talk the reunion. We might eventually, but I don't know. I'm kind of over VPR.
Yeah.
Is that bad?
It's not bad. I don't think it's bad.
Is that bad? Because I love Katie and Ariana still.
Yeah, of course. Especially with the store opening.
Yeah, but, like, Lauren from Utah.
Yeah.
She, I'm kind of, like, not into.
Yeah.
I could deal with more Schwartz.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a Schwartz apologist.
I think he's shown more vulnerability than most men without, like, anger.
And he's, like, since the reunions aired, and even during the reunion, he has, like, voiced that he didn't like how Lala and Sheena kept talking about it as a job and how that kind of ruined the show, because those are my exact feelings. Like, the minute they talk about filming and talk about them getting paid and, like Sheena on her podcast was like, think of all of our crew members, which is true. I know they want their crew members to have this job, but, like, stop talking about it as a job.
Yeah, you're ruining the mystique. We want to just enjoy you as people
a
on
friend
the show.
group.
Yeah.
And you're talking, it's like, I'm not trying to watch them in a scripted show, and it makes it feel more scripted when they talk. And I know those things are there, but just don't talk about it, you know?
At least do it in a different setting.
Yeah.
This isn't the setting for that.
Yeah. But, you know what we're going to talk about?
What are we talking about?
Summer House.
Summer House. Hey.
But before we do, I have to tell you about my Bravo week.
Tell me.
So, Tuesday, right? Tuesday.
Yeah.
Brittany and I went to the LA Bravo watch party.
Yeah,
it was the first time Bravo's ever done this because there's no BravoCon this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it was at the Nickel in Santa Monica, which not like the bougie, like, beach part of Santa Monica, like industrial Santa Monica.
Right. Not the place you want to not be at.
But it was cute. The place was cute. I liked it. It was at the Nickel.
Mm-hmm.
So we get there. I forget what time they set. I got there so early. I was like, I'm going to be there early, like.
No waiting for lines, no issues.
Yeah. So we get there early. We line up. And it's just hearing everyone. I'm like, I'm a Bravo fan, and I feel like I'm, like, nothing compared to all these people, you know? Because they are all such die-hard fans. Like, everyone in line is talking about, like, yeah.
There's
like,
levels of, you know.
Which I feel like generally I'm, like, high up on the fandom.
But then you see somebody just a little bit more.
They're talking about, like, how they go to BravoCon, like, every single year, and they always get VIP, and I'm like, oh, so you rich.
Yeah. That's another indicator of, like, you know, what kind of person you are. It's like, oh, you love the show and you're, like, in a different social
tax
bracket.
You're not the Real Housecast of North Hollywood. You're, like, the Real Housecast of, like, Calabasas.
Right. You're the real house owner.
Yeah, the real property owner.
Yeah.
So I get there, we line up. I go with Brittany, you know, our roommate, and we have grand old time. I'm just, like, very excited. So we go in, and there's, like, merch, you know.
Yeah.
They had some Summer House stuff. I got, like, a little hat that says Talk Bravo to me.
You do look good in the hair.
Talk Bravo to me. It was very cute. We see this girl, like, sitting down, and I'm like, be our friend. Because she's like, and she's like, I'm there with no one. Like, we're like, girl, you're our friend. So, and there's, like, obviously people who are, like, working the event, but then there's, like, Bravo executives there, you know. They show us the Summer House finale, what we're going to talk about today, early.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because there's no subtitles. There should have been subtitles.
I low-key think that's a little ableist, if you ask me. Because who's to say who's coming? Who's to say who's a Bravo fan, right? Like,
feedback. Bravo, feedback. Like, And also just generally, like, at a bar, everyone was, like, everyone was very seriously, like, watching Summer House. They were shushing people, and people were like, yeah, you're right.
Right. You came here for the show. You want to hear the show.
Mm-hmm. But we should have had it. But we were having a grand old time. It was very Team Lindsay inside.
Of course.
People were booing kind of like every time Carl talked.
Yeah.
When Kyle, we'll talk about it later in the episode, but when Kyle had that scene with, like, Carl, you know, right before the you-know-what incident, people were like, Schwartz.
It's I don't know. I feel a little funny about it, but I understand the knee-jerk, you know.
Immediate reaction. Yeah.
Because it's in the zeitgeist.
And then after they showed a preview from an episode of New Jersey and a preview of Dubai, I think people, like, have paid attention to those parts, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Because at that point, like, so much, we watched the full Summer House episode, so everyone saw it, immediately wanted to talk about what they saw.
Right.
But they didn't pause it. They just immediately started showing a preview of New Jersey and Dubai.
Okay.
So I would say the bar was, like, half paying attention, but because people were half paying attention, you couldn't hear, because...
They're talking.
No subtitles.
And no subtitles.
No subtitles.
Yeah.
So after that, then they, like, played, like, the Bravo executive came out. He's like, what you guys think? Blah, blah, blah. And then they were like, okay, we're going to play, like, a Bravo trivia game. They're like, nominate the Bravo superfans. And, like, Britt's like, raise your hand. And I'm like, we had been trying to order food.
Mm-hmm.
We had been unsuccessful because it was very unorganized on, like, how to order food, where to go. Like, do you do it at the bar? There were servers walking around. No one was coming to us.
Too much going on.
It was very confusing.
Yeah.
And so we were like, I'd had a drink but no food. And I was like, I'm not going to get up in front of my community and embarrass myself and say something, like, kind of stupid because I've had a drink and no food, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just watching, and we're, like, in the front of the bar, so I'm like, I have a great view. You know, I'm good.
Chilling.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm in my element.
Yeah.
So they do the little trivia thing, and I'm kind of glad because anytime someone didn't have, like, a clever, like, answer, I'm like, oh, I had a better one in my head. But if I went up, I knew I wouldn't be able to think of them, you know?
The anxiety of being in front of all those people. And,
yeah. And then after they brought in the Bravo celebrities, so we didn't know who it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It was West from Summer House.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. Lisa from Dubai, gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's smaller than me. Like, tiny.
She's that small?
Yeah,
Really?
very short. Like, look at the photo. She's shorter than me.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And then Jen Fessler from New Jersey, which I just caught up on New Jersey today. And, like, she's the most redeeming part of New Jersey.
Aww.
She's gorgeous. Jen Fessler, if you ever watch this, you give me, like, auntie vibes.
That's a big compliment from you.
Total.
To say that, yeah.
Yeah. No, auntie vibes means I love you like a family member, but we could drink wine together too and, like, vibe. You know?
Yeah.
And then so after they bring them out, they do a meet and greet. So when I go up to them, I go, Wes, you're really hot. And he goes, you're hot. Or something like that. I couldn't even hear. I just heard, you're hot. That's maybe not even what he said. And I was just like, me and all my girlfriends love you. Right. And he goes, you and your girlfriend should slide into the DMs. Immediately I got an ick. I got the ick. And I think it was like I realized, I'm like, oh, he was like a cool guy, but he's getting so much female attention right now. And he went from like this normal dude, he's our age, you know, to just being really famous. And he's like, he's Bravo famous. So what does that mean? He's famous with women.
Right.
And I just immediately was like, ew, why'd I give this man attention? Like, I was like, ew, I don't like men.
You're in a space with people that you're not around. So it's just like, you're just trying to be nice. And then you're getting the taste of
and I was just
culture.
I was like, I don't want to give, I said that to him, I was like, I don't want to give him attention. Yeah. And then the next day he, like, commented on my TikTok about the event and was sweet. And I was like, never mind, I love Wes. So I don't know if I have the ick.
Right.
But also, I think him and Sierra definitely aren't together because he said that. Because if he's a man with a girlfriend, why would he tell me and his friends to slide into his DMs, you know?
Right. He could just be on. It could just be like
a thing if he's on, then he should be on as like the then he should be the character of Sierra's boyfriend, you know, playing up that mystery.
Right. I see what you're saying.
And then Lisa, I mean, to be honest, I tried to watch Dubai last season. I couldn't get through it.
It was
But
that bad.
I didn't, but I'm going to watch season 2, and I really, Lisa was one of my, her and Chanel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are my 2 favorites. So I told her, I was like, I think you're so beautiful and gorgeous. She was like, thank you so much. You're beautiful too.
Oh.
I don't know. She said that you're beautiful too. Maybe that's like in my head. But the Jen
You
Fessler,
think you're imagining everything, aren't you?
the Jen Fessler combo, I remember very vividly.
Okay.
So I went to Jen. She was like last in the line. And I go, Jen, I love you. She goes, what's your name? I go, Carson. She goes, grab me. Carson, I love you. Like, she said it like that. So
She's
intense.
intense.
In the best way, though.
Right.
And then I go, Jen, you're saving Jersey. She goes, Carson, I can't do that. I was like, no, Jen, you're doing it. She goes, I love you. And then we, like, embraced.
Sounds like your twin.
I really, like, vibed with Jen. Because then later in the night, I saw her in the bar, and she, like, grabbed me by the shoulder, and she's like, you, girl.
Right.
And I was like, no, you, Jen. She, like, and that interaction made me, like, pick up and watch Jersey today. And I'll finish the season just to watch her.
She's doing her job.
And she also...
She's reeling people.
She had sex with Tony Soprano. What's that actor's name? James Gandolfini.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
She talked about it last season. And she's like the ultimate friend to Housewife Pipeline, where it like works out really well.
Right.
You know, I like love that.
She had the good gabagool. Premium gabagool.
But yeah, so after the meet and greet, we hung out, we danced to Good as Gold, we had fun. I made a friend,
Nice.
which was cool. You know, I love making friends.
You got to in places like that, or else you just feel a little
Yeah.
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Right? You need a homie.
Mm-hmm. And then after, me and Britt wanted to keep the party going. And so we were like, let's go to Schwartz and Sandy's. As usual. We go in. It's dead. It's a Tuesday.
All the Bravo people would be at the Bravo.
Well, later on, there were some people that came from the event.
Oh, okay.
So, like, yeah,
in.
they did come. A
Okay.
couple girls and stuff. We were like, hey, we met you earlier. We danced. You know, we had a couple of those interactions. But when we got there, it was dead. And Max from season 8 of Vanderpump, who's, like, friends with Schwartz. He, like, he was our bartender.
Oh, I remember him now. I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the one who Katie slept with this season.
Right.
Yeah, he was our bartender. He was really nice. He, like, gave us some free drinks, and,
Hey.
yeah, he was very, like, I didn't want to be like, oh my god, Max! Like, because he's, like, there bartending, you know?
He's doing his job.
Yeah, he's doing his job. But on the receipt, I was like, love you!
That's a nice little...
I had also had, like, I'm not a liquor drinker. Like, I drink 2 glasses of rosé and fall asleep.
Yeah.
I drink 1, and on the second I drink half of it and fall asleep.
You're like a cat. You graze your
My
wine.
alcohol, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a tequila soda when I got there,
Yeah.
then a margarita, and this is all at the first place, the Bravo event. And then I took a shot of liquor.
Come on.
I took a shot of tequila. I
Come on.
never take shots. And then at Schwartz and Sandy's, I had 2 espresso martinis.
Bro.
That's a lot for
You're
me.
going off the deep end.
Deep end.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a hangover. It was a hell of a
I
hangover.
remember the morning of the vomiting.
The vomiting and the need of chicken nuggets and...
Chicken nuggets make everything better.
But you know what? I used to drink tequila all the time when I was like 22, 23, and so I felt like that again.
Yeah, if you're having a good time,
I had the best
you
time.
think you're invincible again.
You do.
When you're in that good of a mood.
Yeah,
you know?
you're like, I'm 22 years old, I have nothing to worry about, and then you're like, never mind, I'm almost 30, and I cannot drink like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun. I hope they keep doing like these LA, New York events. I think it's worth it.
It sounds like there was a good turnout. And I mean, as long as the shows are still interesting, right? That's the thing. As long as they're
And everyone was good. No one recorded
Yeah.
anything like we weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
I think we were good girls. And maybe some boys were there.
Some gay guys, I'm guessing. Or boyfriends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's talk Summer House.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let me pull up my notes. Make it... Okay. So it kind of opens on Carl and Lindsay, like the end of their fight from the party.
Yeah.
And Carl says Lindsay's like really good at playing victim.
Which is wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Nancy.
Hello,
Hello.
baby girl.
I think she wants me today.
She does.
Or she wants the pillow.
She wants to be like close so we're like calming on her, but not enough so like our audience can see her.
Right. She's like, I don't need a mic, but I want to be near the
Near.
camera.
I want to be part of it. Okay, so the party's still at the end of like the apocalypse party. It looks, I think their best party all summer.
Yeah.
It looks really fun, the apocalypse
It
thing.
was wild. It seemed like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that weird sculpture that they had, the cat thing, you know?
It was cool.
It was huge.
It was cool.
Yeah.
We see a lot of Sierra and West making out,
Mm-hmm.
which is like, ew, but like, it's giving like hot summer fling, not going anywhere anymore.
You think so? Fizzling out?
Yeah. I don't know. And then we see Jesse flirting with that tiny girl when he like sits in the chair.
That dude is tall.
He's
man.
tall. Honestly, I appreciate it because back in the day when I was single, if I was talking to a dude who was that tall, I was like, you have to get down to my level, dude. This is inequality.
For real. I don't want to be talking to your kneecaps.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think it's just like, they're tall girls. We're tall guys.
For real.
Like, I feel like as a short girl, it's like, it would be wrong for me to date a guy that tall.
I don't know if I would be wrong. The thing is, like, I mean, unless you're harming
I know,
somebody.
I'm making a joke, but I'm, like, saying I'm taking away a super tall guy from, like, a tall girl when, like, I don't need that tall of a guy.
Because you think
Like,
you're, like,
anyone's
equity,
taller than
like,
me.
is parsed out, like...
Like,
you're
the dating
this tall,
pool.
you belong with somebody this tall.
Kind of.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Like, my aunt, she's really tall and her husband's really tall, and I think their family all looks, like, good together. So they're all tall.
But the thing...
And then my mom's really short and my dad's really short.
I think it's segregation, man. I think it's discrimination.
You're probably right.
But I understand it. I
Okay.
understand it.
In the okay. So then there's the firebender.
That motherfucker.
He's from Avatar.
having-
He's from Avatar.
He is. He is the last airbender.
Yeah.
Firebender, excuse me.
He was doing crazy stuff. Carl just, like, him and Lindsay got in that fight, like, right before that.
Yeah.
She was able to brush it off and be like, you know what? It's the season finale. I'm here with my friends. And she was like, I'm gonna just have fun. Carl couldn't move on.
It sort of seemed like none of the guys were really, I don't know, there for him in that moment. Not that they knew what was going on in the first place, but maybe that was
He
a
did
part
kind
of
of, like, run off, though, and, like, in a,
Yeah.
I'm pouting.
Yeah.
And then Kyle does then talk to Carl a little bit about it. And then Carl basically says he doesn't really feel embraced by Lindsay due to her abandonment issues, which it gets at the core of Carl and Lindsay's issues, which you and I have, like, discussed so much. And, like, I think you and I both see both sides.
Yeah. I do think from what you said, too, it's not surprising that all the girls are on, or
Lindsay.
everyone's on Lindsay, as far as I can tell, most people are on Lindsay's side.
I think people are on Lindsay's side, but they agree with Carl's choice.
Yeah.
Because they shouldn't have gotten married.
Yeah.
Which they didn't. And thank God. Like, thank God. What I did love, like, before the final cuddle pod.
Oh, yeah, that was cute.
That was very cute. Because the first episode, they had a huge cuddle pod.
Yeah.
And everyone was in the cuddle pod except for Carl and Lindsay, which was, like, the first cuddle pod.
Right. The OG cuddle
It
pod.
feels like that's kind of what I like about Summer House is, yeah, you're getting drama, you're getting fighting, but you're also getting a cuddle pod.
Yeah, you don't get that with the adults of, like,
Vanderpump,
other
you
shows.
never get a cuddle pod.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
This is a Summer House thing.
Yeah. Yeah, the bed bugs. Do you know what the bed bugs are?
No, they had bed bugs?
No, the bed bugs is
Oh.
what the fans call. Okay.
So, we were talking about the...
Bed bugs in the
bed
cuddle
bugs.
pod.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what they call them is the bed bugs.
I legit thought for a minute that they had bed bugs, and I was like, oh my god, how is this not a storyline? They had bed bugs on.
You know
Summer
what
House.
is a storyline though? Is the fucking front door on Summer House this season. I know you didn't watch all the episodes with me, but there were so many shots of them coming home at night and like trying to open up the door.
Yeah.
And it like
Just struggling.
I'm sure they had so much more footage of it.
Right.
That's what they should release.
It seemed like a lot of people from the the things I was able to see, a lot of people slammed the door a lot.
Because I think the door's fucked up in the
No, like
house.
when they're mad about something.
Oh yeah.
People slam doors a lot.
The reality show got. You know what?
Just show people you're mad.
This is kind of off topic, but everything relates to Bravo. You know what James does when he's like mad?
What does he do?
He like acts like he'll say what he's going to say and then walk away and then come right back and say something else.
He just really wants to.
It's not about the pasta.
Right.
You know? So they have the final cuddle pot of the night, and then like we see everyone kind of going to bed.
Yeah.
West and Sierra cuddling, and they're kind of like having some pillow talk, but not good pillow talk, not like sexy pillow talk, like
More like, problems.
more like, why don't you take anything seriously? I can't take you seriously because you say I love you to everyone, you say baby to everyone. The way you treat me is no differently except the fact that we sleep in the same bed and you cuddle me.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No one wants to be tied down on that show.
I mean, I think Sierra wants to be tied down.
You think Sierra does?
Yeah, I think she wants.
That's what she's asking.
Yeah,
She was like, I do want you to tell me something that you
she
don't
wants
tell
to
other
feel
people.
special.
Right.
I mean, I call all my friends baby.
Mm.
You're my partner. Does it make you feel less special? I feel like the way I call you baby is differently.
I think initially I was like, not bothered by it, but I was like, oh, that's interesting. I felt a little dangerous, a little, but I wasn't like, that's weird.
Yeah.
But
Did
that's kind of what he's saying too, right? That he
Yeah.
calls everybody baby.
Yeah. I don't know. I see both sides. I can see Sierra being like, but he's like, I think what I find weirder, and maybe Sierra does too, I'm not speaking for her, is the fact that he's like, come meet my parents.
That's a big
And they're
thing.
not even like together, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And then Lindsay, when she's going to bed, she looks like she's been crying and she's just like staring off, and they like go to bed. Just made me feel sad.
Yeah.
And it's just like, damn, I don't think she would have called it off, and look how unhappy she would have been.
That was a crazy interaction too, because
Mm-hmm.
like I don't think she did. She just kind of was like, well, I guess we're off then. Right? Wasn't that kind
Yeah,
of...
we'll get there.
Oh,
But
sorry,
yeah,
I'm jumping.
You're jumping all the way to the end.
You wanna take
We're
that
still
back?
we're still in the Hamptons. No, it's
Right.
cool.
You don't want to take that back? Okay.
Let's hold for sound.
But you don't want to take that back?
No,
I didn't mean to.
No. Okay.
I'm trying to like monitor what I can and can't say,
You could say whatever you want.
but I jumped ahead.
That's fine if you jump ahead. It's a podcast. It's not scripted. You can say, "Hey, you're jumping. We'll get there."
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
The Real House Guest of North Hollywood. The real.
All right.
Beat breaker. You could have like a blurred screen of just me going beat breaker.
Yeah. I was really thinking, this is a transition right here.
Yeah. One, what are they called? The interviews? Testimonial. When they were like, do you see Sierra like in your future? And they were like, Wes was like, I see her in football season.
That's
That
a
was
way
like-
to phrase it.
That's
I
like
guess.
such a bro-y thing to say.
Right.
But okay. Next morning, they're all having their morning like cuddles. Another Summer House thing I talked about last episode is they
Yeah.
always have like their morning cuddles. Like, that's like what I love about like, I want to say girlhood, but I think boys do it too. It's just boys don't have sleepovers as much, I think, as adults.
Yeah.
It's like the morning in bed, like, so, like the talking and gossiping and watching, like that.
It's like the right kind of intimacy for like a group of friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Like you've done it with my friends. Like, you know, like how, like, I don't know, it's so intimate.
No, yeah.
It's like when my mom comes to town and we're like, no, she stays with us because we like to have the morning coffee.
Yeah.
That intimacy.
Right.
And I just thought it was cute, like Amanda joining Wes and Sierra in bed. Like, I found that cute.
I thought so too.
But then it got weird because Lindsay and Carl started arguing in the kitchen about like what to do for Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like arguing and Kyle has to go into shit. And he gets like, do you think he was stuck in the house or he was trying to listen?
I think he was trying to listen. Honestly. Because, like, how could you not?
Yeah.
When you know what's going on between them. And then, you know, we all know there's more than one door in the house. You could use another door if you really needed to. But I don't think you wanted to.
I kind of loved, like, Kyle, like...
Right. It's like peeking.
It added some nice
pretending
comedy.
like he's rapping some chords.
And they're arguing. It's just, like, Carl's like, I want you to be sensitive. I want you to be sweet. And
yeah.
I think Lindsay's like... She feels like he's saying, I want you to be something I don't think you are.
I have seen some things,
Mm-hmm.
and from what I have seen, I haven't seen her say something particularly encouraging if it wasn't in a sarcastic tone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I maybe I don't have enough information, but that's what it seems like to me.
I think just from 8 seasons of watching her, she's never going to be like, okay, baby, go figure it out. But if he came in and was like, okay, so I want to open this bar. I found this investor. I have this and this and this. And, like, had pieces put together. She'd be like, okay. From my experience with Lindsay with all 8 seasons. Yeah. But I think if you come to her being like, maybe we could do this. Like, the way we balance each other's off, I don't think that's what she wants from her romantic partner. I don't think that's necessarily a good or a bad thing. I'm not here to judge. But I think it's just different than what Carl wants. I think he does want that.
I think he does want that because he says he wants that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the greatest way to know what somebody wants.
And she says she wants someone who's practical and, like, has their shit together. I mean, that's like, what she said last episode. She was like, I find it very attractive when you're confident and when you are ambitious and when you have goals. And
it sounds like gender norms to me. Because what if he said that to her? What if she was like, I would really love for you to be more encouraging.
I mean, she's
like, I would love it if you were just a go-getter.
She is a go-getter, though. But
I'm saying, what if she wasn't? What if she was Carl? What if the roles
were
reversed?
That's the incompatibility, though, of their entire relationship, though.
But also, it's not really fair when you think about it. It's like, why is it okay for her to tell him this is how you're supposed to be? And then if he were to say that to her... We'd be like,
why can he say, like, I want you to be soft and sensitive? Because to me, it's as sexist as what you think of, you know, her saying, I want to be a go-getter. Because it's like, why, like, what does that mean to you to be soft and sensitive? Like, because she's being who she's always been.
Speaking of that, I do think from what I know, what I've been able to, you know, learn with you is that, like, I think their friendship is still firmly rooted in their relationship. Mm-hmm. I was just thinking about that as we were talking. Mm-hmm. I'm like, maybe that's the issue. She still kind of sees him as my friend that I've always loved, that I always wanted to be with, but my friend.
Well, they had no time for their relationship to really build because they were all of a sudden they were together and they were engaged.
So like when he's talking about whatever he needs or when he's talking about his business or whatever, she might be answering as like, what would I say as a friend? Mm-hmm. Not like, what would I say as a partner to my partner? I think that might be the issue. Yeah. You know?
Among a lot of things.
Amongst a lot of other issues.
And then they hug.
That was the most limp noodle hug I've ever seen.
I have more passion when I hug, like...
a brick wall.
Yeah. Like, it was sad. Like, even when I'm pissed off and we hug, like, sad like that, there's still more passion than that.
And especially between people who have been friends for a really long time.
And people who's supposed to get married.
I know. I think it might be also things that we can't see, which are the cameras, which are all the other things.
There's so many elements, yeah.
But it is like awkward as fuck.
Yeah, because there's certain things that you just can't deny. Yeah. So they're all cleaning up the house, and Jesse Solomon and Paige are talking, and he says what he learned this summer is you can be just friends with girls. You don't have to want to fuck them.
He's like, well, you can do that? No way. Need that, like, reading Rainbow.
Woo!
The more
Jesse
you know.
Solomon, you can have friends that are girls.
Honestly, though, I know people that still don't believe in that. That is not possible to be a friend of someone of, you know.
But then do you think, like, queer people, like, should only, like,
yeah.
be
that's
friends?
That's the question you would raise to them. Be like,
yeah.
You know, are you only allowed to be friends with certain people or something?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you capable only?
Lindsay then is talking to Danielle, and she basically says she feels like Carl needs her to boost his confidence, but so he needs her to make him confident. But then she says she needs him to be confident for her to be confident. So it's just like, they're not...
It's like playing Twister.
And everyone, like, so they're all saying goodbye, but then they realize, like, oh, we're all going to Montauk.
Right.
And we think it's the end. But then it's not.
It's not the end.
Oh, before that, Lindsay won't ride with Carl to Montauk. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Which was kind of sad.
Because I mean, my biggest point of reference is my own relationship.
Yeah.
If there's, like, a long car ride, I'm riding with you.
Right.
I'm not riding in someone else's car.
Unless there's a really good reason for, like, you know, the cars being Tetris in some kind of way where you could only fit some, you know.
If I'm being used as a middle seat person, that's what it would be. It'd be like, okay, you're the small, so you have to sit in the middle in someone's car.
Or the AC isn't working in mine, or, you know.
But
I don't want to ride with you.
even if we're fighting, we're still together. Like.
Yeah.
And we're not even engaged, and they're engaged. So to me, being engaged just means you have, like, not a higher level of commitment, but a higher level of commitment.
A different kind of commitment.
It's I mean, you're
instead of, like, ranking it, I guess, just like it's a different thing. It's a different beast.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. I think you were saying the same thing.
Like I do think it's a higher level.
You think it's a higher level? I just think it's a different creature of commitment.
Well, you're saying we're going to be partners for life. I guess we have said that, but we haven't made a commitment in front of all our friends and family. We just
have in front of Los Angeles court for a domestic partnership. We've done that. But I guess
I feel like doing it or the investment of a ring. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, unless you buy a ring pop.
I don't think Lindsay was wearing a ring pop.
No.
But yeah, 3 days later, 2.5 months from their wedding, Carl and Lindsay sit down, and I do think Carl personally went into this conversation
prepared
with a choice made. I think Lindsay knew things were wrong from that conversation in the kitchen, but I don't think she put it together that he was going to do it all on camera right there.
Yeah. I think she was a little blindsided, or just, like, you know, taken for a spin.
Well, and we can go into this now. Was she blind or was she blindsided?
I think she was both, personally.
Both can be true because Carl...
Let's say in denial. So we're respectful to blind people.
Lindsay was maybe in denial, but it doesn't excuse Carl for knowing his feelings, because I think Carl knew his feelings for more time than he's admitting to the public, definitely. Longer than he's probably admitting to his friends, and probably longer than he was admitting to himself.
Yeah.
He probably knew much sooner. I think he knew at the beginning of the season. I really do.
And he was trying to fight the feeling, maybe.
I don't think, because I don't want to talk about Carl's mom too much, but she's done enough scenes on camera, not just this year, but, like, throughout the years.
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like he comes from a family that knows just how to be honest and be blunt and know, like, I'm not always gentle, but I'm forthcoming, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a little bit on how I was raised, that sometimes it's just better to be forthcoming, laid out there, and, like, you shouldn't be slowly letting out pieces until you explode, you know?
Yeah. I was raised in a way that was like...
You explode.
Yeah, but also, like, I learned to be more gentle and not as direct.
Yeah.
You know? Like, exactly what you're saying. Parse out all the difficult things, so it's not like one big difficult thing. But at the same time, that's not beneficial for everybody. Not everybody's gonna.
Because, like, after they do finally have the conversation, and then the girls all get together, you know, and we'll break it down, but, like, what Paige says to Lindsay is totally right. He did you a favor. He wasn't the man, you know, Lindsay needed. Because Lindsay, she does want to get married. She does want to have a baby. She wants to have a family. Mm-hmm. You know, she feels like she didn't have one, so she wants to create her own, which I relate to. And if Carl's not the one, there is someone out there, you know? I believe that. And she could be married and have a baby in a year. She could.
Or she could go the Stassi route.
You mean the Lala route?
The Lala route.
I mean, Stassi has Beau and 2 beautiful children.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably what she actually does want.
She wants the Stassi route, but she could go the Lala route. Or the, as we know from Shells of Sunset, Golnessa. She did that way too.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of ways to be a parent. And maybe she just wants to fall in love and find her partner and build her family that way. Like, but whatever life she wants, it shouldn't be with Carl, you know?
Yeah, they definitely have some stuff to deal with.
Carl speaks over Lindsay a lot in that conversation.
That was really annoying.
And I feel like that's probably a side of him that's more of what we don't see, but we are seeing.
Or maybe he was just really worked up to get this over with, that he was just already on, like, you know, not his stress level, but, like, his urgency was already up there. So when whatever she has to say isn't going to come through his filter.
But then that's true that he, like, went into the conversation. Like, it doesn't matter what she was going to say.
He was prepared.
He was saying what he was going to say. And it's kind of like, it's a little disrespectful to the relationship as a whole. If you come in an engagement, someone you've been best friends with, you got engaged to, regardless of, like, any of just those facts, you know? You have this deep history, and you're going into it's not a conversation, it's facts. I don't know.
He might also be going to it with some resentment already built up.
Oh, for sure.
You know, because they said something about them shouting at each other and the landlord and, you know.
Yeah.
The warnings and all that.
It did make me sad, though, seeing the way, like, Lindsay, just, like, her abandonment issues coming out and, I don't know, the heartbreak. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, he says he doesn't want to go through with the wedding. And then, since we had that scene with Kyle and Carl before, we then have, like, the girls getting ready.
Yeah.
Danielle says that she would never say, "I told you so." And she cried for Lindsay when she found out, but this is exactly what she was preventing.
Yeah. Like,
that, I feel that so deeply. And I haven't liked Danielle all season. I've talked a lot of shit. But that was, I think it redeemed her for me, because I was like, oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there 1,000%. When you're like, this is not what you should do, and this is why. Your friends do it anyway.
You just needed a little moment to count.
But then what can you do in that moment? You can't say, I told you so. You have to say, I love you and I'm here for you.
You gotta be the biggest dick in the world to say that.
Amanda was advocating for Carl too much during the girls' talk.
She might also just be coming at it from the point of view of what she's thinking of her relationship, you know?
Because she regrets her marriage.
Maybe,
and she's like,
know. Or maybe she thinks...
Do you think she's, because all season I've been saying Kyle and Amanda should get divorced. Do you think she was like, Carl did the right thing and did what because she was like, Carl did what I never could. She kept saying,
she
like,
kept saying that?
She said, what Carl did, guys, took strength. I was too scared. Like, she was like, that was so scary. Like,
that's one interpretation. We need some more evidence. But
and I loved the way Lindsay came in crying. That really broke my heart.
Yeah.
It, like, humanized her a lot for me, too.
And then the group hug.
And then Paige breaking the ice by saying, this is what you get for not inviting me to your wedding.
That was great.
That was the most Scorpio thing I could think of.
Yeah.
Perfect
timing.
You know, so Paige is a Scorpio like you, and Craig's an Aquarius like me.
Oh, I didn't know
So we're like Paige and Craig.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. But Danielle says, or Danielle or Lindsay, you say, don't say you're ready if you're not ready. And that, like, really resonates with me. Because I think that's, like, the core of Lindsay's heartbreak is Carl went along with something that Lindsay was making a choice for.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say your truth sometimes.
It is.
You know?
But don't you feel like when you can live in your own truth, like,
you feel lighter,
authentic.
but then at the same time you're like, is my truth worth someone else's pain? You know,
and I'm sure
do,
with
like, some mental calculation, you know?
and Carl, like, I don't want it to, like, he's not Tom Sandoval.
No, but
He's
people
not,
are just mad.
I do think he didn't handle things well. I think he uses therapy talk to be a little bit manipulative.
I think that's pretty true.
But I don't think he's evil. I think it's so good they didn't get married. Like, thank God. Like, he ended it before they got married. 2.5 months before, but it's still before rather than a divorce. But, yeah, I don't know.
Let's just see if they can, in any way, I don't know, just be friends. Go back to being friends.
Yeah, what will happen next season?
Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be lingering
Well, we have the
pain.
reunion coming.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
I know.
You know, to see where they are, you know, just in the brief amount of time from what we've seen.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We'll do a sleepover edition for the Summer House reunion. Bring in some other, house guests and.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a really fun episode. Thank you so much for joining me, Ezra.
Thank you so much for having me.
Follow him on social here. Check out his films. They're a little different than Bravo, but, we got, what's the word I'm looking for? Variety?
Or variety. Yeah.
Get you a man who can make, like, weird, dramatic, me describing your work, weird, dramatic films, and talk Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
It's all life. At the end of the day, it's all life.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Carson Frey. We'll be back next Tuesday. We will probably be recapping the Valley, maybe talking some Real Housewives of New Jersey. Real Housewives of Dubai is coming up. Please follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, all the things. We have a collaboration coming out with the Crunchy Queens coming soon.
Yeah.
So much fun. Thank you so much. I love you.
Bye.